Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittany Lee.
I'm Ian Fuego here.
Marsha Parker.
Back with what might be considered a retro review. Doesn't 15 years entail retro?
Yes.
So
That's
yeah, this
retro,
one's
yeah.
definitely retro review
Yes.
of the original Jeepers Creepers. Now I'm not sure when I'm presenting this, if it's at the same time as our Jeepers Creepers 3 review or a little bit after, but we wanted to go ahead and record these reviews because we've all seen the movies. I just rewatched them last night. Brittany watched the Confused reviews as a refresher because she's seen the movies before, but it's been a while. And then you guys are kind of just operating off of memory at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been a while,
But
but I have my opinion about this.
Yeah, I'm
film.
sure. Well, that's the thing. It's one of those that really stuck with us.
Yeah.
So that's part of another reason why I wanted to do this. Now, again, we do have to mention up front that there is the giant, disgustingly horrible elephant in the room of the piece
God
of
damn
shit
it, get outta
director.
here!
Yeah, the piece of shit director, Victor Salva, who was convicted on
Accounts of making powder, accounts of making...
No, accounts of child
Yeah.
abuse of a kind, sexual abuse of a child.
He's a sex offender.
12-year-old
Yeah.
sex offender, right? He served his time. However, doesn't make it any less heinous what he did. But that aside, we are going to talk about the movies. And, frankly, the first two came out without me having any knowledge of the background at all.
Most of the general public either.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I know it was out there, but it just wasn't made hugely aware to the rest of the public because, frankly, the internet wasn't what it was quite yet. It had started,
Right.
but nothing was setting fire via Twitter or Insta or whatever the hell at that point.
Well,
So,
I mean, also, he didn't really have a hit until Jeepers Creepers. I mean, Powder bombed a lot of his big budget stuff since
Powder?
the 80s.
The movie
Yeah,
Powder?
the
Like with the white guy?
The white guy. Yeah, that's
You
the one
didn't-
I always
it
make fun of.
bombed?
It bombed at the box office. It was a big budget film.
I
but
love that movie.
Didn't make
I haven't
money.
thought about it for
Same director,
years.
right? Yeah.
Same director.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I always joke about it. But yeah, he didn't have a hit as far as like money to box office response, and you can't really condone anything obviously. But Jeepers Creepers basically was what put him on the map, and so that's why the old skeletons in the closet came back out.
Unfortunately, with this third movie, it's unavoidable. And if it continues, it'll continue, I'm sure. However, we are here to talk about the very first movie in the series, all of that aside. And that is one starring Justin Long, and I'm not sure what the actress's name is.
The girl who's returning for the third movie.
Exactly.
Melissa Santos.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't really know.
No, that sounds
think that's
completely
false.
That is totally a
false.
made up
That's
name.
so wrong.
But it sounded good. It sounded good.
Gina
Sounded
something?
actually plausible,
Wasn't it
too.
Gina something?
Maybe
Gina
so.
Richards.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Don't know. Sounds good.
Gina and Martin.
But nonetheless, it's about Justin Long and his sister out on the open highway, cruising home during spring break, because it's supposed to be during spring. And essentially they're having fun with each other, making fun of each other, I should say.
Yeah.
Careful.
Be careful how
Yeah,
you do
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna
I know,
say, brother and
Jesus.
sister are
Brother and
having
sister.
fun with each other. Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm making each other laugh and playing games like
Joking
they used to
around.
play, like who can insult each other the most without repeating the
Yeah.
same sort of offense, That sort of thing is what I mean, playing with each other. But
There you go.
nonetheless, they get attacked while on the road by this creepy old truck and an unknown driver, and it almost runs them off the road, but they're like, what the hell, that's crazy. And then later on, they actually pass and they see the truck on the side of the road, and they see its driver dumping bodies down this tube, and clearly it's bodies, and the driver stares at them and then chases them down and runs them off the road and then takes off.
Yeah.
And while any normal human would say that's enough, they decide to go back and check out the tube. He's like, Justin Long even has a line of dialogue that says, I'm thinking outside of my own selfish existence here. If I was the person dropped down in that tube, wouldn't I want someone to come and check out if I was alive or
At
not?
their own curiosity.
Yeah, so they go and they check out the tube, and Justin Long gets accidentally dropped down, and he sees that it is indeed bodies, and
Yeah.
there's in fact a underground sort of mausoleum with bodies dating back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
But still perfectly preserved in
Yeah.
a weird way. So it's this really cool visual thing, and the rest of the movie is them sort of being hunted down by this creature, which is in humanoid form. They call him the Creeper, but he hunts them down, and he apparently, they see at one point that he kills a couple of cops and like starts making out with one's head, but actually pulling the tongue out and eating the tongue. And
Yeah.
like there's a
I
lot of
forgot
really
about
cool
that.
stuff. Yeah, but so it's them versus this creature, and
Yeah.
then by the end they have to figure out why it's following them. And there's a whole thing that unfolds as far as the lore of him having to, like, so the creeper scares his victims in order to sniff out what parts it wants from
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and that's where I will jump in and say that I see a lot of similarity in the lore of this creature to Pennywise, and the fact that, you know, it's like sniffing out things, the fact that it returns cyclically after X amount of years, and all of this stuff.
27
and
and 23.
yeah, exactly. And so that was something that I immediately identified. I thought this creature was cool, you know, but unfortunately the film was built up so much to me, kind of maybe the way the second version of It was. You know, lots of people were like, oh, it's scary as hell and whatever, and even Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, said that it's one of the scariest movies up there. The Exorcist. Not the case, you know, it's not gonna fright your balls off or anything, or, you know.
I differ.
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
You actually think it's a super
I love
scary
that
film?
movie. Yeah, when I first
No, I'm not
watched
saying I didn't love it, but I'm saying it didn't
No.
scare me.
Oh, I thought it was scary because I thought they had some really cool moments in there. The creature was phenomenal. It was probably one of the best creatures I had seen up to that point. Coming in, and just the fact, the suspense, and then also the chemistry between Justin Long and his sister, and just the spookiness of this creature coming back. And then there was a story they were talking about when they were on their way to their mom's house on that highway about two people, couple, the teenage couple that disappeared. And when he goes down, and you just see these bodies, and they're not just hanging out. They're like
Sewn together
in this
And
beautiful,
plastered
like
all over the
Michelangelo kind of 16th Chapel kind of situation underneath this
I hope you're
it's a
making
work
fun
of art.
Justin Bieber, Sistine Chapel.
16th Chapel. Yeah.
Yeah, Sistine Chapel.
But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I get it.
was, and it like freaked me out. I'm like, that is crazy. I thought they did a really good job. I didn't know anything about the movie. Maybe that was the
It
difference.
was built up so much. It's once again back to the burden of expectation.
Yeah.
You know, and the
Really?
fact that
I hadn't heard anything when I saw it originally.
my younger brother and my neighbor had watched it, and we're like, this is like the scariest shit we have ever seen. Oh my god, you love horror, you got to see it. And then when I sat down to see it, I was like prepared, you know, and I was like, well, it's pretty good. You know, and that was the way that I still feel about it. But I haven't rewatched it since then, so we're talking a long time.
Well, I feel like if
At
you would
this
watch it now, I think it would hold more weight then than it would now. But altogether, I think the movie would still hold up. I think I didn't watch it recently, but I know I watched it within the last couple of years. Just because if I see it's on, I'm gonna watch it. Just because the dialogue is so good, the cinematography was so good, the special effects are amazing. And the acting was up there. I don't know. I love this movie.
I love the finale. You know, I mean, I love any horror film
the
that
twist.
any horror film that ends in a dark fashion. I love.
And then the way it ended.
Yeah.
Well, super dark. I mean, because it shows how resilient the creeper was, because that's after they run him over like numerous times, and you see that his arm is flattened, his leg is severed. And it's funny because when he gets up to chase after him, he's like hobbling, you know, after him. Because that's
so
the
it
thing
showed
about
the
the
after
creeper.
effects.
Once he gets a scent of something he wants, he doesn't stop until he has it.
But it's not just that he wants it; he can use it. He takes it to replenish his own body parts,
That's
which
how
is
he like builds
really
himself back
creepy.
up.
And the
yeah.
sound effects when he's eating, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, and then he just like it makes him whole again.
I'd actually forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and because he hobbles in, and when he attacks the prison, the one cop is like going down the line of the cells. Like there's a lot of clever things that were in the movie. So he's going down the line of cells, and he's waking up prisoners, and then he gets to like the third cell, and the prisoners are like backed up against it, and they're like, you know, they're like, look this way, and then he shows, and the thing has eaten the left like from knee down,
Yeah.
and he's eating the arm in order to replace his arm and leg, and he stands up, and
Yeah.
then it's the evil creeper in the police station
Yeah.
scene. It's just really cool, good creature fun.
I wonder
I
if
need
he
to
has a
revisit
certain
it,
blood
I know.
type, and that's the problem. He needs to make sure.
I don't think it matters.
he
I don't
loves
think he's
any
that
type of
picky.
blood, just
Yeah.
blood. Period.
So
you know,
Britt, we
bring it
haven't
on.
gotten your take on it at all. What do you think of the Jeepers Creepers original?
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was, when I first saw it, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was more original than a lot of things at the time. Although it did have the whole, we're driving down a desolate road.
Yeah, it was
that
tropey at times.
we've seen so many times before. And then the stupid, the we know we're in a horror type thing, though, where she's like, you're being a dumbass. And,
Yeah.
and
Almost
you're doing
kind
the
of
stupid
self-aware.
thing that,
That was
people
actually-
in horror movies hate.
Yeah, that was in the trailer for the original
Yeah,
movie, if
and
I'm
you're
not
just,
mistaken.
just going,
It's like, you know that thing
You
that
know that-
people
I
do in
thought that
horror
that was
movies that make you
funny.
really hate you?
I
This
like
is that moment.
This is-
In
Yeah,
the
you're
late
just like,
90s,
yeah.
early 2000s, meta was so
Yeah, it
cool.
was.
really
It was.
was.
It really
Yeah.
was. It
I
was.
liked
And they
it.
just kept. They just kept hitting that horse, man.
I liked it. I hated her, but I was really sad. Spoiler alert that she wasn't the one that died.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see
that
that
was one of
though.
those things that I knew was gonna happen from like the beginning. You're just like, oh, the sister's gonna live and he's gonna die and it's gonna suck.
And then
I
it
was
switched
just
on you,
glad.
though.
I was just glad that in the end that the monster got to live, because I always hate when they're like, we killed the monster and then it came back, and I'm like, just let the monster live, because we all know the monster's gonna live anyways.
It's the most popular character in the film anyway, so,
All horror movies are about the monster. They're not about the survivors. They're all about the monster.
All the good
Yeah.
ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the ones with returning sequels and
Yeah.
stuff like that
Yeah.
generally tend to be that
I
way.
could watch like 7 of these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't condone anything, whatever, and I know it's a like controversial subject, but this movie's awesome, and I love this series.
Mhm.
Put all that aside, like I am happy it exists, and I can't wait to watch the third one.
I know, me too.
So.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and this is where you can say I personally love the films of Woody Allen. I love music from whatever person who's done something dumb. I mean,
Michael Jackson.
yeah.
True.
I do. Yeah, I do. So,
Cosby Show.
separate the person from the art.
No.
You don't condone, but you can still appreciate a creation.
Yeah.
And the gore is always fun.
Mhm.
They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
skimp on. Well, I mean, it's not a huge amount, but it's
Yeah, I was
enough.
gonna say, I didn't
And
remember a lot from
the tapestry, and then the aftermath when he's chewing things, and you see the arm drop, and it's just a stump. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff, but it's not over the top. But the second one has that beat, and we're about to
yeah.
do a review of the second one. So
Now, so when he put the eyes in, spoilers at the end. Well, shit. I guess I didn't say whose eyes they were. I mean,
well, we just spoiled already. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
okay, yeah,
it's
whatever.
2002. Whatever.
yeah. Did they have any dripping? I'm like trying to
No.
remember since. it's
No.
been
No,
so
they were
long
pretty-
since
they
I-
were
yeah,
pretty
it was
hollowed
just-
out.
Okay, so he.
Where'd you get
he-
those eyes?
He just no. He like
It looked like
skinned
it skinned
Justin.
him,
He
yeah, he's
skinned
just got
Justin
his
Long,
skin.
and then
No,
Yeah,
it's
he
not
did.
skin.
It looks like
Huh?
it
No.
looks,
It's his
well,
skin,
that's-
and he
comes
goes-
up
he
behind
checks his
him,
skin.
and he's just.
No, it's Justin Long's body. He's just taken the
No,
eyes
no,
out.
he comes
There's
up
holes all
behind
the way
him, and
through.
you can.
No, I know.
all the way
The
through?
creeper.
I thought.
No,
he
I
just-
don't think you
sucked his
understand.
eyeballs out the
I
back
thought
of
he
the
I
head.
just watched it
Knocked him
last
out.
night.
Yeah.
It's his body. It's his body that's being held
It's
up
his
there.
Yeah, it was like hollow.
No, it's his body. He
No.
didn't.
No, I
he
thought
didn't
it was
take.
just.
He just took his eyes.
Yeah.
He wanted his eyes. Jeepers creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? That's the whole point.
Yeah,
He
where'd you get
even
those
sniffs his
Yeah.
eyes at the end of the last thing he sniffs are Justin Long's eyes, and then he takes them away. He takes his eyes, and so much so that they actually put Justin Long in the creeper
That's
outfit
fine. Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
for
end
the
when he
close-up at
pops
the
up
end.
at the end in
Yeah.
order to show that it's Justin Long's eyes and
Mhm.
the creeper now. It's him as the creeper.
right, but they would have had to take the. The thing is he was behind Justin Long's flesh
Body.
when,
Well,
so they
his
would have
corpse,
had to
I
take
mean.
his skin off to do
It-
that.
it-
No, it was
literally-
just
it
his
looks
body.
like- it
He
looks
just
like
had his
he-
body strung
It
up.
looks like he took his skull off, and all that's left is the skin of his face when he comes up behind and you see
How
his
else are you
eyes.
That's
gonna-
just a bad effect. It's his body.
How else are you gonna see through his eyes?
That's the whole point. That's why it's unnerving. He took
You know where I'm
everything.
coming from, right?
I do. Huh?
He
Because
took everything.
Yeah,
Honestly, since
No,
I
it would be
haven't
harder to
rewatched-
make
I know
holes
what-
line up in just skin than if you just took
I'm
a
with you.
cylinder and took the eyes out.
Since I haven't
Listen to what I'm
rewatched
saying.
it, I
If
don't
it's
know
just
for
skin,
sure.
it would be harder to get two holes to line up perfectly in the front and the back than it would if you
No,
just
what
took
we're
this
saying is
section
he
out of
only
the
has
body.
the front section of the face skin.
Because
You're
that's how
wrong.
you.
You're
How does
wrong.
he get
'Cause
behind him and wears it like
dude,
a mask?
it starts at his belly button,
He
and then
wears-
it goes up.
And he wears it like a mask because he.
No,
comes
he
up and the
doesn't.
eyes come through. The...
Dude, how much do you want to bet?
I
I literally
I
just
felt
watched
the
it
same
last
way. I
night.
always
I
thought
felt
he-
the same way.
Really?
Guys,
I always
the
thought-
camera starts at his belly button
I
because it
always thought he
shows
just
that he's
plugged out
got the
his eyeballs.
rose on his belly button,
Yeah.
and it pans up. It pans up his body, and then it shows his eyes having
Yeah.
been taken out, and the creeper stands up behind him.
Right. So how if he has a full head skull, then how are you seeing the creeper behind him?
It's
because-
through the eye. The camera zooms
Yeah.
in on the eye hole.
No,
It
but you
pushes in
see,
on the eye
you
hole.
see both eyes, and then
At
it
first,
zooms in
and
on
then
the
it
one.
pushes in on one. Yeah.
Well,
I don't
We know what we're saying.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys, it's his body though. Like it
That's
doesn't
what-
matter. It's a
that's
silly
what
point.
Yeah,
remember-
but
to
if I
argue,
take
but
out Fuego's eyes and stand behind him, you're not going to be able to
that's
see
what's
me through
creepy
the eyes.
about it. He digs out everything. He
Yeah.
doesn't just take the eye.
yeah, and that's what I was kind of. I mean, even looking back since I haven't rewatched the film, I recall a corpse that had like just absent lodges here, and that's all that there was. You know, and you saw the eyes of
Even
him
in the second one, when he appears and he doesn't have his eyes, it's the same image. It's his
No, I know
whole
his
body
eyes
without
are
the
gone,
eyes.
but-
But they go all the way through, and he's there in his whole body.
Okay. I'm just gonna say okay, but I don't agree that it's just his. It's
I'm
his whole
gonna
body.
have to put it on after this.
I understand
Dude,
that
but-
they show
dude,
the
but-
whole thing, but I don't. It's not. There's no way you can see through
whole
someone's
thing.
eyes and see another
But the whole
thing
point
pop
of
up.
what would he have done with all of the why would he skin him? He only takes the one part from people.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought
That's
you
part
wanted
of
the
his
skin.
mythos.
I thought he just wanted the eyes based on the song.
stupid
He just
little
wanted
star
the eyes.
thingy that with the belly button on it from the next one.
Yeah, that they screwed up a lot from the first one and the second one. They didn't even have the truck in the second one.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people talk shit about the second one, which I actually enjoyed better than the first one because of the fact that the burden of expectation.
Nonetheless, that point aside, we all enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So-
wasn't bad.
Sure. All right.
I'm actually with Brittany on this one. This is a very okay film for me.
Marcia and I liked it. They thought it was okay.
I don't know why they're seeing the third one if they didn't like the first
I know.
one.
I dug it.
It's Cecil's birthday.
All right. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. Let us know in the comments down below. Is it the body or is it the skin? You tell us. I'd like to see what everyone thinks.
Is it just the eyeballs? Damn it! Hence
The
the
way
song.
I interpreted it was that he skinned him and just took everything.
Well, then he wouldn't have the innards of his mouth, which you can see too when it passes by. You can see him.
My interpretation of the movie was that he took his skin.
This isn't
Okay.
going away, guys. You have to
All right.
decide for us.
Thanks very much for watching. We will be back to do a review of number 2. Hopefully, it's less scandalous than this. But until then, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittany Lee.
Gracias, I've been having fun.
I'm Marcia Burger.
And remember,
Stay
stay scared.
scared.